Ladies and gentlemen, within the vast landscape of human potential, there lies a single, powerful force, self-confidence. This invisible yet invincible quality acts as the cornerstone upon which all monumental success is built. Without self-confidence, talents remain dormant, dreams flicker like fading candles, and the aspirations of greatness are lost in the shadows of hesitation. But what is self-confidence truly? It is not mere arrogance or blind pride. No, it is a profound, unshakable faith in your own power to master circumstances, overcome challenges, and manifest your deepest desires. It is the voice within that whispers, "I can," even when the world shouts, "You cannot." This confidence is not a gift bestowed by fate. It is a discipline cultivated by those who refuse to surrender to fear and doubt. Today I will unveil the principles that will ignite that flame within you, the secrets to build and sustain self-confidence so strong that it commands success to follow you wherever you go. Prepare yourself to break free from limitation and step boldly onto the path of unstoppable achievement. Because confidence is not just a feeling, it is the very essence of victory. Every great achievement in history, every breakthrough that has shaped the world, began with one fundamental principle: self-confidence. It is the bedrock upon which all success is built. Without it, the grandest plans remain nothing but idle dreams. The inventor who doubts his idea will never bring it to life. The entrepreneur who lacks faith in their vision will never take the risks necessary to build an empire. The artist who questions their worth will never share their masterpiece with the world. Self-confidence is not just a helpful trait, it is the very foundation of accomplishment. Imagine a towering building. No matter how beautiful or intricately designed it may be, without a strong foundation it will crumble at the first sign of adversity. Self-confidence serves as that foundation for the human spirit. It is the inner assurance that you possess the ability to face challenges, adapt, and rise above any obstacle. This assurance does not come from mere wishful thinking or blind optimism. It is born of knowledge of your own capabilities, your strengths, and your capacity to learn and grow. When you are self-confident, you are not paralyzed by doubt or hesitation. You move forward with clarity and purpose because you believe in your right to succeed. This belief becomes a magnet, attracting opportunities, alliances, and resources that align with your goals. It fuels your perseverance when the road is difficult and when others give up. It is the inner voice that says, "I will find a way." History teaches us that self-confidence is the secret ingredient behind every success story. Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, faced thousands of failures before he succeeded. But his self-confidence, his unwavering faith that he would find a solution, kept him moving forward. He didn't see failure as defeat, he saw it as stepping stones to his goal. This is the power of self-confidence. It transforms obstacles into lessons and setbacks into motivation. Self-confidence also frees you from the shackles of fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of ridicule, these are the barriers that hold many back from realizing their true potential. But when you possess self-confidence, you recognize that these fears are illusions created by your own mind. You understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but a necessary part of the journey toward it. This understanding shifts your mindset from avoidance to action. It is important to understand that self-confidence does not mean you have to be perfect or that you know everything. On the contrary, the truly confident person embraces their imperfections and gaps in knowledge. They accept that growth comes through learning, trial, and error. What separates the confident individual is their belief that no matter what, they can handle whatever comes their way and find a solution. This belief is empowering because it moves you from passivity into active creation of your own destiny. Another critical aspect of self Confidence is that it is a state of mind you can cultivate intentionally. It is not something you are born with or without. It is a habit to be developed through repeated practice. Like a muscle, the more you use and strengthen it, the more powerful it becomes. This means that anyone, regardless of background or circumstances, can build a foundation of self-confidence by committing to consistent, deliberate effort. How does one build this foundation? First, by developing clear goals and definite purpose. When your mind is fixed on a clear target, your confidence grows because you know what you want and why you want it. Ambiguity breeds uncertainty, but clarity breeds confidence. Second, by taking small, consistent steps toward your goals. Each success, no matter how minor, reinforces your belief in your abilities. Third, by surrounding yourself with positive influences, people who believe in you and encourage your growth rather than those who sow doubt and negativity. Your thoughts shape your reality. If you constantly tell yourself you are incapable or undeserving, your mind will produce results that align with those beliefs. But if you nurture thoughts of confidence, resilience, and possibility, your brain begins to map a path towards success. This is not mere positive thinking. It is the practical, psychological foundation upon which action and achievement are built. In every story of triumph, self-confidence was the unseen force that propelled the individual forward. It is the reason why some people can rise after devastating failures, and others crumble under far less pressure. Self-confidence is the invisible armor that protects your spirit, and empowers you to keep fighting when the odds seem insurmountable. In conclusion, self-confidence is the foundation of success because it transforms potential into reality. It is the mental soil in which the seeds of achievement take root and flourish. Without it, talent remains wasted and dreams remain unrealized. But with it, you possess the power to shape your destiny, overcome fear, and embrace every opportunity with courage and certainty. So ask yourself today, are you building your foundation strong enough? Are you nurturing the faith in yourself that will carry you through every trial and triumph? Remember, the starting point of every great achievement lies within your belief in yourself. Cultivate it, strengthen it, and watch as the world opens its doors to your success. Fear is the greatest enemy of self-confidence, and mastering it is essential to unlocking your true potential. The moment fear takes hold, it clouds your mind, weakens your resolve, and paralyzes your ability to act decisively. Fear is not a physical obstacle you can see or touch, but it is a mental prison that restricts the very will to move forward. Every failure to progress, every hesitation to take that vital step toward your goal, can be traced back to one source: fear. The mastery over fear is not just an option for those who seek success, it is a necessity. The first step in mastering fear is recognizing that fear is an illusion. It has no real substance except what you give it. Fear is a product of the imagination, fueled by the mind's habit of exaggerating danger and focusing on what could go wrong instead of what can go right. This is why fear often feels so powerful. It tricks your mind into believing that defeat is inevitable. But the truth is that fear is only as strong as the meaning you assign to it. When you understand that fear is a creation of your own thoughts, you gain the power to diminish it. Napoleon Hill often emphasized that fear is the state of mind that must be conquered to achieve greatness. This conquest begins with awareness. You must become conscious of the fears that hold you back, whether they are fear of failure, fear of criticism, fear of poverty, or fear of the unknown. Naming your fears reduces their power because what you ignore grows stronger in the shadows. By bringing fear into the light of awareness, you rob it of its mystery and begin to take control. Next, you must deliberately reject fear and replace it with faith and confidence. This is where the power of your mind becomes your greatest weapon. Repetition of positive affirmations, visualization of success, and the constant feeding of your subconscious with encouraging thoughts serve as a form of mental reprogramming. These practices weaken the grip of fear and strengthen your belief in your own ability to overcome obstacles. Action is the antidote to fear. Fear thrives in inaction and indecision. When you hesitate, your mind dwells on all the worst-case scenarios and fear grows. But when you take bold, decisive action, you break the spell. Each step you take toward your goal is a strike against fear's power. Even if the step is small, it builds momentum and creates proof to yourself that you are capable and resilient. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it through action. It is important to understand that mastering fear does not mean eliminating it completely. Fear is a natural human emotion, and it serves a purpose by alerting us to danger. What mastery means is controlling fear so that it does not control you. It means choosing to move forward despite fear, refusing to let it dictate your decisions. This choice is what separates successful people from those who remain trapped in mediocrity. A powerful technique to master fear is to confront it directly. This might mean deliberately putting yourself in situations that challenge your fears in a controlled way. The more you face your fears, the more you diminish their power. For example, if you fear public speaking, practice speaking in front of small groups until the fear loses its grip. If you fear failure, take calculated risks where the potential loss is manageable, but the potential gain is great. Each confrontation builds your confidence and weakens fear's influence. The mind is like a garden, and fear is a weed that grows rapidly if left unchecked. But with careful tending through positive thought, faith, and action, you can uproot fear and replace it with self, confidence, and determination. The moment you decide that fear will no longer rule your life, you open the door to unlimited possibilities. History is full of examples of men and women who faced tremendous fears and yet achieved greatness. They were not fearless, they simply chose not to be ruled by their fears. Their secret was their ability to harness the power of their mind, to reject doubt, and to persist in action despite uncertainty. This is the essence of mastery over fear. In conclusion, fear is the invisible barrier that separates you from your highest potential. It is a mental state you must conquer if you want to build lasting self-confidence and achieve extraordinary success. Recognize fear for what it is, an illusion created by the mind. Bring it into awareness, reject it with faith and positive thought, and act decisively to break its hold. Remember, the path to mastery over fear is not a journey of elimination, but a journey of control and courage. Choose today to master your fears, and you will unleash the power within you to pursue your dreams boldly, confidently, and without hesitation. The moment you do, you will find that the world itself bends to the will of your self-confidence and determination. The mind is the most powerful tool at your disposal, but it is also the most delicate. It absorbs impressions like a sponge, and what you feed it becomes the blueprint for your reality. Among the many techniques for cultivating self-confidence, one stands out as both simple and profoundly effective: autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the practice of deliberately influencing your subconscious mind by repeating positive affirmations and visualizing success. This technique, when applied consistently, rewires your thinking, reshapes your beliefs, and transforms your actions. To understand the power of autosuggestion, you must first recognize the role of the subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is aware and rational, but it is the subconscious that governs your habits, emotions, and automatic responses. The subconscious mind accepts whatever thoughts you impress upon it, whether positive or negative, and it works tirelessly to bring those thoughts into your reality. If you feed your subconscious with doubt, fear, and negativity. It will manifest obstacles and failure. But if you feed it with confidence, faith, and a clear vision of success, it will guide your actions and decisions toward those outcomes. Autosuggestion is the key to influencing this powerful part of your mind. It is not a vague hope or wishful thinking, but a disciplined practice of repeating affirmations that declare your capabilities and your right to succeed. For example, by telling yourself daily, "I am confident and capable," or "I overcome challenges with courage," you plant seeds of confidence deep within your subconscious. Over time, these seeds grow into unwavering belief, which influences every aspect of your behavior. This process works because the subconscious mind cannot distinguish between reality and what it perceives as real through repeated suggestion. If you consistently impress upon your mind that you are confident, your subconscious will accept this as truth and begin to align your thoughts, emotions, and actions accordingly. You will start to notice a shift in your attitude, your willingness to take risks, and your ability to remain calm under pressure. Visualization is an essential complement to verbal affirmations. When you vividly picture yourself succeeding, imagine the sights, sounds, and feelings associated with your success. You create a mental experience that your subconscious accepts as real. This mental rehearsal prepares your mind and body to perform confidently in real situations. Athletes, performers, and successful leaders have long used visualization as a tool to boost confidence and enhance performance. When combined with autosuggestion, visualization strengthens your belief in your potential and primes you for action. It is important to understand that autosuggestion requires repetition and consistency. A single positive affirmation uttered once will have little effect. The mind is accustomed to habitual thought patterns, many of which are negative or limiting. You must consciously overwrite these old patterns by regularly feeding your subconscious positive, empowering messages. This is why daily practice morning and night is often recommended for effective autosuggestion. However, autosuggestion is not a magic spell that works without effort. It is a tool that must be combined with faith and action. You must genuinely believe in the affirmations you repeat and back them up with persistent effort toward your goals. Your subconscious mind responds to sincerity and commitment. If your affirmations are merely empty words, your subconscious will resist and maintain old, limiting beliefs. Moreover, autosuggestion can be tailored to target specific fears or doubts that undermine your self-confidence. For instance, if you struggle with public speaking, you might repeat affirmations like, "I speak clearly and confidently before any audience," or "I enjoy sharing my ideas and inspiring others." Over time, these suggestions reshape your internal dialogue and reduce the anxiety associated with the task. The power of autosuggestion lies in its ability to transform your inner world, which in turn transforms your outer world. Self-confidence is not something you find externally, it is cultivated within. By consciously directing your thoughts and beliefs, you create a mental environment where confidence flourishes. This mental environment shapes your behavior, interactions, and decisions, all of which influence your level of success. History and personal development, pioneers have long recognized the power of autosuggestion. It is no coincidence that some of the most successful individuals consistently affirm their goals and visualize their achievements. This practice reinforces their confidence and maintains their focus, even in the face of setbacks. In conclusion, the power of autosuggestion is a cornerstone of building lasting self-confidence. By deliberately and consistently feeding your subconscious mind with positive affirmations and vivid visualizations, you rewrite your internal beliefs and prepare yourself for success. This mental programming fuels your confidence, dispels doubt, and empowers you to take bold actions that lead to achievement. Embrace autosuggestion as a daily discipline, Speak to your mind with kindness and certainty. Paint vivid pictures of your success in your imagination. As you do so, watch how your self-confidence grows, how your fears diminish, and how your life aligns with the powerful vision you have created within. Your mind is a garden. Plant the seeds of confidence, nurture them with autosuggestion, and harvest a life of achievement. Self-confidence is not a passive feeling or mere wishful thinking. It is demonstrated and proven through action. Confidence without action is like a ship without a rudder. It has no direction and will never reach its destination. The moment you decide to act despite uncertainty, doubt, or fear, you solidify your belief in yourself. Action is the ultimate proof that you trust your own abilities and your vision. It transforms invisible faith into tangible results. Many people mistake self-confidence for a state of mind that only occurs when everything feels certain or perfect. But the truth is, confidence often arises as a result of taking action, not before it. Waiting for confidence to appear before you act is a trap that leads to inaction and missed opportunities. Instead, the practice of acting boldly, even when you feel unsure, builds your confidence incrementally. Each action you take creates evidence that you are capable. It is like a feedback loop. You act, you learn, you succeed or adjust, and your confidence grows. This cycle of action and reflection is what transforms a hopeful idea into a realized goal. Without action, confidence remains theoretical, fragile, and easily shattered by the slightest challenge. But with action, confidence becomes robust, tested, and self-reinforcing. Decisiveness is a hallmark of those who possess true self-confidence. They do not hesitate endlessly or drown in overanalysis. They make decisions promptly and commit to them with conviction. This decisiveness is not arrogance, but a reflection of their belief that they can adapt and overcome whatever follows. Indecision, on the other hand, breeds doubt and undermines confidence. The longer you delay, the more you feed uncertainty and fear. It is important to recognize that taking action does not guarantee success every time. Failure is often part of the process. However, it is through action that you gain experience and insight, which are the real building blocks of confidence. Each setback provides valuable lessons that refine your approach and deepen your understanding. Those who shy away from action to avoid failure also avoid growth and the strengthening of self-belief. The power of action also lies in its ability to break the cycle of negative thinking. When you feel uncertain or anxious, the mind tends to spiral into worst-case scenarios. But action interrupts that spiral. It shifts your focus from internal doubts to external results. It engages your mind and body in problem-solving rather than worry. This engagement is critical for building a confident mindset. Furthermore, action communicates a message to the world, and to yourself, that you are serious about your goals. It draws attention, creates opportunities, and invites support from others. People naturally respond to those who move with purpose and determination. In this way, action not only builds your internal confidence, but also generates external momentum that propels you forward. Consistency in action is equally important. Confidence is not built overnight, but through repeated demonstrations of your ability to follow through. Small, consistent actions compound over time, creating a foundation of success that becomes difficult to shake. Just as muscles grow stronger with regular exercise, confidence grows stronger with consistent effort. When you take action, you also develop resilience. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming become manageable because you have already proven to yourself that you can face difficulties and persevere. This resilience is a crucial aspect of self-confidence because it assures you that no matter what happens, you have the inner resources to handle it. One of the greatest barriers to action is the fear of making mistakes or looking foolish. Yet those who achieve greatness embrace mistakes as part of the journey. They understand that every misstep is a stepping stone to mastery. Confidence comes not from never falling, but from having the courage to rise each time you fall. Taking imperfect action is far better than waiting for perfect conditions that may never come. To cultivate self-confidence through action, set clear goals and break them into manageable steps. Start with what you can do today. Each completed step will build your belief in your ability to succeed. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and use it as fuel to keep moving forward. In conclusion, action is the proof of self-confidence. It is the living evidence that you trust yourself and your vision enough to move forward despite uncertainty. Without action, confidence remains fragile and theoretical, but with action, it becomes a powerful force that drives success. Act decisively, consistently, and courageously. Let each step you take reinforce your belief in your capabilities and your right to achieve greatness. Remember, the path to lasting self-confidence is paved with bold, purposeful action. Self-confidence is not only an internal force. It is also an external signal that communicates your strength, competence, and vision to others. This invisible yet powerful energy influences how people perceive you and determines the level of trust and respect you inspire. The relationship between self-confidence and leadership is deeply intertwined. To lead effectively, whether in business, community, or personal life, you must first possess and project genuine self-confidence. Leadership without confidence is like a flame without heat. It lacks the power to inspire or transform. When you are self-confident, you send a message to those around you that you believe in your abilities and your purpose. This message is contagious. People are naturally drawn to individuals who exude assurance and clarity. They seek guidance from those who appear grounded and capable. This is because self-confidence signals not only competence but also stability, a vital quality in uncertain times. A confident leader becomes a beacon in the storm, offering direction and hope. Moreover, self-confidence enhances your ability to communicate effectively. When you trust yourself, your words carry weight, and your demeanor conveys sincerity and conviction. People listen more closely and respond more willingly when they sense that you are secure in your knowledge and vision. This creates a powerful dynamic where your influence expands simply because of your assured presence. Leadership at its core is about influence, the ability to inspire others to follow your vision and work toward a common goal. Without self-confidence, this influence is weak or non-existent. Doubt and hesitation are sensed immediately, eroding trust and undermining your authority. Conversely, confidence fosters loyalty, commitment, and enthusiasm. It encourages others to believe in the mission and in themselves. Another crucial aspect is that self-confidence empowers you to make decisions boldly and take responsibility for their outcomes. Leaders face uncertainty and must often make choices without complete information. Confidence provides the courage to act decisively and the humility to adjust course when necessary. This decisiveness inspires confidence in others, creating a cycle of trust and empowerment within your team or community. Self-confidence also enables you to handle criticism and opposition with grace and resilience. Leaders inevitably encounter resistance. Without confidence, criticism can shake your resolve and distract you from your purpose. But a confident individual understands that opposition is a natural part of leadership. They do not take criticism personally, but use it as feedback to grow stronger and wiser. This ability to remain composed under pressure further enhances your credibility and influence. Furthermore, self-confidence encourages authenticity. When you are secure in yourself, you do not feel compelled to pretend or overcompensate. You lead from a place of honesty and integrity, which resonates deeply with others. Authenticity builds deep, lasting connections and fosters a culture of trust. People follow leaders who are real, transparent, and consistent. Importantly, the influence that comes from self. Confidence is not about domination or control, it is about empowerment. True leadership uplifts others, helping them discover and develop their own confidence and potential. When you lead with confidence, you create an environment where others feel safe to express ideas, take risks, and grow. This collective empowerment multiplies success far beyond what any one individual could achieve alone. To develop this kind of influential self-confidence, begin by cultivating mastery in your field. Knowledge and competence build genuine confidence that cannot be faked. Invest time in learning, practicing, and refining your skills. Preparation breeds confidence, and confidence builds influence. Next, practice presence, the art of being fully engaged and attentive in every interaction. When you are present, you communicate respect and interest, which draws people in. Presence combined with self-confidence creates a magnetic effect that attracts followers and allies. Also, nurture humility alongside confidence. Recognize that leadership is a service, not a privilege. Humility keeps confidence grounded and open to growth. It allows you to acknowledge your limitations and seek collaboration, which strengthens your influence. Remember that leadership is a continual journey. Your confidence and influence will grow as you face challenges, learn from mistakes, and celebrate victories. Surround yourself with mentors and peers who support your growth and hold you accountable. Share your vision clearly and passionately, and act with integrity. In conclusion, self-confidence is the cornerstone of influence and leadership. It signals to the world that you are capable, trustworthy, and ready to guide others. This confidence inspires loyalty, fosters effective communication, and empowers those around you. True leadership is not about wielding power, but about uplifting others through the strength of your belief in yourself and your mission. By developing and projecting authentic self-confidence, you not only transform your own life, but become a catalyst for transformation in the lives of others. You create a legacy of leadership that inspires generations to come. Harness the power of self-confidence, lead with courage and humility, and watch as your influence changes the world. Good morning. Before you race into the world, before the demands of the day come knocking, I invite you to pause. Not to do anything, but to remember something that the world often makes you forget. You are already enough. From the moment you opened your eyes, you were whole. Not because of what you've achieved, not because of what others say about you, but because you exist. You, with your quirks, your doubts, your imperfect beauty, are a spark of the universe unfolding in real time. You see, self-love is not a destination. It's not a mountain to climb. It's the realization that there is nowhere to go to find yourself because you have never been lost. The tragedy is that we spend so much of our lives trying to become someone, when the true miracle is simply being. So let's begin this day not with striving, but with stillness. Not with judgment, but with gentle reverence for who you are right here, right now. Let this be your daily remembrance. You are not a project. You are a presence, and that is more than enough. You are not a problem to be fixed. This is the beginning of true self-love, the realization that your existence does not require justification, repair, or approval. And yet, from the moment we're born, we are subtly taught that something is wrong with us. We are told to improve, to be better, to become something else, as if we are unfinished drafts, clumsy and unworthy until we meet a list of expectations laid out by society, parents, teachers, and even ourselves. But this mindset, that you are lacking, that you are a problem in need of fixing, is the very thing that keeps you from loving yourself. You were not born to be a machine. Life is not about perfecting your performance in the eyes of others. You are not an object to be calibrated. You are a living, breathing phenomenon, a dance of energy, emotion, thought, and wonder. There is no flaw in being human. In fact, it is your vulnerability, your contradictions, your cracks that allow light to pass through. To love yourself is not to ignore your shadows, but to embrace them. They too are part of the totality of who you are. The trouble is, we compare ourselves constantly. We measure ourselves against filtered images, impossible standards, polished personas. And in doing so, we become convinced that we must constantly be improving, constantly be fixing some part of ourselves. But improvement is not the same as love. You can pursue growth without believing you are broken. You can seek to expand your understanding, sharpen your skills, or deepen your compassion, not because you lack value, but because it is a joy to explore the full range of your being. Self-love in its deepest form is not an emotion you feel when everything is going well. It is the silent permission to be exactly as you are, even when things are messy. Even when you feel low, confused, or unsure, it is the quiet voice that says, "Even now I am worthy of kindness, even now I am not a mistake." And this love is not narcissistic or selfish. On the contrary, when you stop trying to fix yourself, you also stop trying to fix others. You begin to see that every human being is on their own beautiful, chaotic, and sacred journey. You soften, you listen more, you judge less, because when you accept yourself, you naturally begin to accept the world. So, when you wake up each morning, resist the urge to see your reflection as a checklist of flaws. Instead, see a miracle in motion, a being who doesn't need to be improved to be loved. The work of self-love is not about transformation. It's about remembrance. You are not a project, you are a process. You are not here to be perfect, only to be whole. And in your wholeness nothing is missing, nothing is wrong. We often live under the spell of becoming, believing that who we are right now is not enough, and that our worth depends on transforming into someone else, someone better, smarter, more accomplished, or more lovable. This illusion of becoming traps us in a constant state of dissatisfaction, because no matter how much we achieve or change, the next better version is always just out of reach. It is as if we are chasing a horizon that moves farther away the more we run. Yet the truth is that self-love is not about becoming something new. It is about recognizing who you already are beneath the layers of expectation, judgment, and striving. The desire to become can feel noble. It promises growth, improvement, and progress. But it often carries a subtle message: you are not enough as you are. This message plants a seed of inadequacy that blooms into anxiety and self-criticism. When we look at ourselves through the lens of becoming, we treat our present self as incomplete, flawed, or inferior, and we push ourselves to fix, improve, or escape. But in doing so, we lose sight of the fundamental fact that your essence, your true nature, is already whole and complete. Imagine a river flowing effortlessly. It doesn't try to become another river or a lake or an ocean. It simply is what it is, moving, changing, alive. You are like that river. Your true self is not a destination to reach, but a continuous flow to be experienced. The you that you seek is not waiting for you in some future moment after you have become better or different. It is here, right now, beneath the noise of your thoughts and doubts. This doesn't mean you shouldn't grow or learn. It means that growth is a celebration, not a rescue mission. You can explore new ideas, develop new skills, and deepen your understanding, all from a place of already being enough. You don't grow because you are broken. You grow because you are curious, because life itself is an unfolding dance. The moment you accept that your worth is not conditional on your achievements, you liberate yourself from the tyranny of endless becoming. To love yourself is to stop resisting who you are in this present moment. It is to stop waiting for the perfect version of yourself to arrive before you allow yourself kindness, compassion, and respect. It's about understanding that love is not a goal to reach, but a presence to cultivate, a way of being that recognizes your inherent value now, just as you are. When you release the illusion of becoming, you begin to live more fully. You become less afraid of mistakes, less caught in regret or anticipation, and more open to the richness of your own existence. The journey becomes less about escaping yourself and more about embracing yourself, flaws and all. This embrace is not static, it is alive, fluid, and compassionate. So this morning, as you step into your day, remember, you do not have to become someone else to be worthy of love. The person you are right now is already enough. The invitation is to stop chasing and start receiving the gift of your own presence, right here, right now. True self-love is found not in some distant ideal or future achievement, but in the embrace of who you are right now in this imperfect and beautiful moment. We are often seduced by the idea that love, especially love for ourselves, should be reserved for when we have become better, cleaner, more polished versions of who we are. We think, when I am successful, then I will love myself. When I have overcome this struggle, then I will be worthy. But this constant postponement leads us away from the only place where genuine love can exist, the present moment. To love yourself is to meet yourself exactly where you are, not where you think you ought to be. It is to open your arms to your flaws, your doubts, your fears, and your contradictions. It is to see your humanity raw, messy, alive, and to greet it with tenderness rather than judgment. In truth, the ideal you imagine is a kind of mirage, an imagined version of yourself created by cultural expectations, fears, or desires. Chasing that mirage only deepens the sense of dissatisfaction, because the ideal is not real, it is a projection. The present moment, on the other hand, is the only reality you can ever fully touch. It is where life happens, where breath enters your lungs, where your heart beats, where your thoughts arise and pass away. To truly love yourself, you must learn to live fully in this moment, accepting it without resistance or denial. This means embracing both your strengths and your vulnerabilities, your joys and your sorrows, your confidence and your uncertainties. When you practice this radical acceptance, something shifts inside. You stop fighting against yourself and begin to flow with the rhythm of your own being. This acceptance does not mean complacency or resignation. It does not mean you stop growing or trying to improve your life. Rather, it means that growth comes from a foundation of love, not from a place of lack or self-criticism. When you love yourself in the now, you give yourself the safety and space to explore who you are without fear. You cultivate an inner environment where healing and transformation can arise naturally, like flowers blooming in fertile soil. The illusion of the ideal self creates a barrier between who you are and who you want to be. It convinces you that love must be earned or deserved, rather than being an inherent right of your existence. But when you turn toward yourself with genuine acceptance, you dismantle that barrier. You recognize that your worth is not conditional on achievement or perfection. It is unconditional, like the love of the sun for the earth, constant, steady, and nourishing. So, each morning, as you greet the day, let this be your intention, to meet yourself with kindness and presence, to honor the moment as it is, not as you wish it would be, to release the need for an ideal, and to embrace your real, beautiful self. In this practice you will discover that love is not a distant goal, but a living, breathing reality accessible in every breath you take. And in that discovery you will find peace. You are not separate from the universe, you are a vital expression of it. This is a truth so profound that it shakes the very foundation of how we perceive ourselves and our place in the world. Often we live as if we are isolated islands, alone in a vast sea of existence, disconnected from everything else. But the reality is quite the opposite. You are the universe in motion, a unique and irreplaceable manifestation of the same cosmic energy that forms the stars, the oceans, and the very air you breathe. When you recognize this self, love takes on an entirely new meaning. It is no longer just about feeling good about yourself or accepting your flaws. It becomes an act of reverence toward the divine flow that courses through your being. To love yourself is to honor the miraculous fact that you are alive, that you are a dynamic dance of atoms, cells, thoughts, and emotions, all arising from the same mysterious source that gives life to the mountains and the galaxies. This perspective invites you to see yourself not as a separate entity struggling for survival or validation, but as an integral part of the whole. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions ripple outward, connected to the vast web of existence. This interconnectedness means that when you cultivate kindness and compassion toward yourself, you contribute to the harmony of the entire cosmos. Conversely, when you reject or harm yourself, it disrupts the flow of that universal energy. There is a natural rhythm to life, a cosmic pulse that flows through everything. To align with this rhythm is to love yourself deeply and authentically. It is to recognize that your being is not static but fluid, constantly evolving as part of a larger dance. This understanding softens the harsh judgments we often place on ourselves and opens us to a gentler, more expansive way of living. When you see yourself as the universe in motion, every experience, joy, pain, success, failure, becomes part of a sacred journey. There is no need to cling to outcomes or resist what arises because all is part of the unfolding whole. You begin to trust the process of life itself, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be in the grand design. This cosmic perspective also dissolves the barriers between self, love, and love for others. When you realize that you and the world are not separate but one, loving yourself naturally extends to loving those around you. Compassion for yourself becomes the foundation for empathy, connection, and kindness toward others. So, in your morning practice of self-love, remember this. You are not an isolated self struggling in a void. You are a vibrant, living expression of the universe's endless creativity. To love yourself is to honor that creative energy, to celebrate your place in the cosmos, and to embrace the eternal flow that connects you to all that is. In this knowing, self-love becomes not just a personal act but a cosmic dance, an affirmation of life itself. Self-love is often mistaken for a fleeting feeling, something that comes and goes like the weather, dependent on circumstances, achievements, or external validation. But in its deepest form, self-love is far more than an emotion. It is a daily practice of awareness, a steady attention to the truth of your own existence. It is a conscious choice each morning to recognize that your life, simply by being, is a miracle, not something to be earned, but something to be honored. This daily practice is like tending a garden. You don't expect the flowers to bloom overnight, nor do you abandon the soil when the sun hides behind clouds. Instead, you nurture the ground, water it, and patiently observe the slow unfolding of life. In the same way, self-love requires consistent care and gentle presence. It asks you to begin each day not with harsh self-criticism or endless to-do lists, but with a quiet, mindful acknowledgement of who you are. Awareness is the foundation of this practice. When you wake up, instead of rushing into the demands of the day, take a moment to simply be with yourself. Notice your breath, your body, your thoughts, without trying to change them or judge them. This moment of presence is an act of self-love because it says, I see you, I honor you, you matter. It grounds you in the reality that your worth is not conditional on what you do or achieve, but on the simple fact that you exist. Over time, this awareness transforms how you relate to yourself. You become less reactive to criticism, less caught up in worry about the future or regret over the past. Instead, you cultivate a compassionate observer within, a steady witness that holds your joys and sorrows with equal care. This witness is not separate from you, it is the truest expression of self-love, because it allows you to be fully present with all parts of yourself. This practice also invites you to cultivate gratitude not just for the big things, but for the small everyday miracles of your existence. The beating of your heart, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the simple pleasure of a breath taken freely. When you focus on these, you begin to see your life as a sacred gift, not a series of problems to solve. In honoring your existence daily, you build resilience against the inevitable challenges life brings. You create a sanctuary within yourself, a place of refuge and strength that no external circumstance can easily shake. This inner sanctuary is where true self-love lives not as a distant ideal, but as a living reality you carry with you. So make self-love your morning ritual. Let it be the first thing you listen to, the first thought you hold, the first act you perform. In doing so, you remind yourself that you are not defined by your struggles or your successes. You are defined by the sacredness of your being, a presence that deserves kindness, respect, and above all, love. This daily practice is a gift you give yourself, a gentle, ongoing affirmation that you are worthy simply because you are. And in that recognition, life becomes richer, fuller, and infinitely more beautiful.